Hey guys, here we go with the rounds four, rounds 4 through 6. And we're gonna be covering the knockdown for the flow of the fight, and this just gets amazing. I apologize right now. I'm in my car, so I'm not sure how good the quality of the audio is. You're gonna see people kind of like passing by, but I do all like a lot of my video editing and stuff at Starbucks because I live in San Diego and it gets hot. I know I'm wearing a sweatshirt, so I don't have a right to complain about the heat if I'm not gonna. But shut up, I don't give a fuck. But um, but I also get like refills. I'm not gonna justify that, man. Fuck you guys. I love Starbucks. So anyway, um, yeah. So we're gonna be breaking down um, rounds 4 through 6, and I've got some like really fascinating clips that I want to talk about, and we're gonna get to the knockdown at the end, and it's fucking brilliant. I know everyone thinks it was a lucky shot, but I promise you guys, I promise you by the end of the video, I'm gonna change your mind. Linares, I made some comments about how Linares stole the show for me, and some guy called me out about it, because I'm not like in my mind, I guess I'm not like giving Loma credit for what he did. Um, I'm a huge Lomachenko fan. I think that he's the greatest fighter of all time. I know that's us, like, oh, he's got 12 pro fights, bro. What you talking about? I just think that um, his understanding of boxing, the way that he learns, he moves, he not moves, like the way that he understands boxing, his boxing theory, the way that he understands the mind of a fighter, and the way that he's able to exploit that kind of stuff in the ring to set traps and to set up offense, I think is the best of all time. The way that he defends himself, the way that, like it always looks like he's taking chances, but he's not. He's smart. He's smart. He knows what he's doing. And someone mentioned in the comments, punch for pound. A longtime watcher of mine was rewatching, and he was talking about how he thinks that Lomachenko had hurt Linares, right? And I wasn't redoing my watch of the fight. I wasn't watching it to see that kind of stuff. I was picking up on patterns. I wasn't like, I don't pay attention to like, oh, that shot was a powerful shot, or that was that. Like, none of that stuff you'll ever see in a highlight video do I pay attention to. So I'm looking for technique. I'm looking for what he's doing to set up his shots. I'm looking for rhythms and patterns that allow those shots to be more effective and more numerous as the fight goes on. And I just didn't notice it, but after going back and rewatching even just this video that I chopped up, it does look like Linares was getting hurt, and I think that might be why Lomachenko was getting a little lax in his defense. But also, we're going to show you how Lomachenko or how Linares was setting that shot up. So the first thing we're going to look at is look at the feinting of Lomachenko, right? So what we figured out so far is that Linares had been timing him off of the level changes, right? And because he would level change, and then he would come in with the left hand to the body, he would level change, and then he would try to take that lead angle on the outside, as you can see he's kind of doing right here. But as you can see here, he level changes, right? And I missed the beginning of the clip, I don't know what happened, but he level changes right there and then shoots a shot and then immediately goes back to his high guard. He knows that that's when punches are coming, right? Controlling him, right? Level change and then takes a step out, right? Linares tries to catch him with that left hook right there when he level changes, because it's a signal that he's going to go to the body, right? And I think Lomachenko is kind of underrated for his body work, but Linares obviously didn't take that very lightly, so understands that. But again, catching that shot, dipping to the outside, he understands that this is when shots might be coming, right? They're battling for lead hand control, and that is like, I want you to pay attention to that because it's very subtle, and there's a huge shift in the 6th round, right? And we're going to get to that. It's beautiful. But look at how he feints low, right? And look how Linares leans over. He's like, oh, am I going to counter right now? Right? Changing levels again, right? Dipping to the outside. And he's looking to use these strategies to take Linares' ability to counter him away, because he was getting countered so badly um, to the body and to the head when he would change levels. Now, again, able to set up some shots right there. It's not super clear whether he lands this shot to the body, but he changes levels, then he probes, right? And he comes in, and it looks like he shoots a left hand to the body and then controls him on the way out, controlling his lead hand, right? And then he changes levels, shoots a left hand, and then immediately goes to his high guard, right? Notice when he would usually do that, he would take that outside angle, right? But now he knows that that's when Linares is looking to counter him. He knows that that's when Linares is looking to land his shots, and this is Linares' main source of offense throughout the fight. And we're going to talk about that too. And Lomachenko takes a step back, puts his high guard up, and says, nope, you're not going to get me this time. Lomachenko making a huge adjustment in this round, showing exactly how cerebral he is, right? Now, in this situation, right, he changes levels, shoots that 1-2, and then tries to smother him. But as you can see, Linares still having success with it, right? Not like super great, right? But landing a couple of shots because still in his mind, that's his trigger to land some offense. Now again, Lomachenko changing levels, baiting shots, and look at how he baits that shot from Linares. Beautiful work, right? So he changes levels. That incites Linares to shoot a jab. I think it does catch him, but he gets Linares to go first and then counters him. This is a big drawing point for the fight, right? Because this is why the fight really turns into Lomachenko's favor once he gets Linares to start going first. Once he gets Linares to not wait for him so he can counter him, right? Because now, real quick tangent, right? The timing, right, is so important. Like, if you go back, I made a video about Golovkin timing David Lemieux, right? And I had watched the fight, but I couldn't find the fight anywhere. And then someone uploaded it like a day or two before the Canelo fight, and I did a video on it. And David Lemieux has this timing where he leans forward, and it's very similar to one of the timings that Linares had when he was fighting Campbell, and it made Campbell really able to time him and control him. And I want to give Linares huge props for breaking that rhythm and breaking that timing and really working on his footwork and the way that he adjusts and the way that he sets up his offense, because there was like nearly no timing of that in this fight. You know, he really abandoned it after the first or the second round, and like really had a stable base and wasn't telegraphing his shots, and it was able to really give Lomachenko like a lot of problems. But that timing, because it's so effective, when you know when your opponent's going to throw punches or you know when your opponent's going to do something, it opens up these huge avenues for you to get free offense. It's free because all you have to do is understand that that's when your opponent is going to open themselves up and put themselves out of position, right? And that's what happens when you throw punches, right? So if I throw my jab right here, I'm no longer able to block a shot here. You know, I know that a lot of people think you shoot the jab and then you bring it back real quick. That's bullshit, you know. You don't bring your hands back to your head because you don't train bringing your hand back after you shifted all your weight into your shot as much. You're not going to be able to rip your weight back before your opponent can whip their weight out, right? So you need to control them. I think I got too much of a tangent and I got a little lost. Like I'm recording this in my car and some little kid was staring at me like that. So I'm like a little out of my space right now. But anyway, we're going to move forward. Now Lomachenko starts getting Linares to lead off that timing, right? Very important because that stops Linares from being comfortable in utilizing that timing as well, because then he thinks, oh, now he's baiting that timing from me and he's countering me, so now I have to find new ways of offense. And as you can see right here, Linares looks to start being the one that leads, and he starts shooting that probing jab out, right? And because he doesn't know how to set up his shot after that, he doesn't know what he's looking for, as soon as he starts to lead, that opens up an avenue for Lomachenko just to start throwing punches at him and set up his own shots and close the distance really easily and landing that great body shot, that great uppercut. Again, Linares doesn't know because he doesn't have any information on Lomachenko because he hasn't been leading in this fight, right? He's thrown some great body shots, but he's mostly been countering. So now that he has to open up and start learning about Lomachenko, he's found that because that timing is taken away from him, he doesn't have any information on Lomachenko. So now he has to look for it. But Lomachenko already has information on people sticking out their lead hand or shooting a jab or doing this or doing that because he has so many fights. He has so much experience. I apologize, it's a little windy right now. I can't tell if you can hear the wind or you can feel it, but I hope it's not interrupting the video. But anyway, as you can see, Linares having a very difficult time in the fifth round, and that was all the fifth round, setting up his shots and starts getting pieced up. That was the fourth round, I believe. This is the fifth round here. Now, as you can see, Lomachenko comes out, the same style, feinting, right? See how he gave him that he gives him that little level change, and Linares bites on it, right? And Linares sticks his lead hand out there. That's baiting the shot, right? And that's going to be something that's something that all fighters need to learn to do, is because, like I just said, when Linares sticks his glove out there, he can't defend himself. He could throw a right hand, right, because his weight is still on his back foot, right? But he's not going to be able to block shots going over that left hand, or he's not going to be able, maybe Lomachenko can get out to the outside of him, but it's putting himself out of position, and that's what Lomachenko is so good at doing, is getting his opponents out of position, figuring out what their cues are, what their plans are. Again, baiting him, changing levels, dipping to the outside, getting Linares to shoot that jab, right? Linares does some really interesting things too, right? So controls him with this lead hand, and look at how he circles out. You know, I might make a whole nother video on this tactic, but it was a way of Linares using his body and using his control to take away that outside angle from Lomachenko. But it's not super important for this part. But like I said before, when I started doing this fight is just so layered, right? It's just so layered. There's just so many things going on. It's really tough to break down. But doing a good job of moving to Linares' right, and that's something that I really liked. I'm just going to touch on it just a little bit. Linares gave up, Linares, in the beginning of the fight, he wasn't just trying to herd Lomachenko to his left, right? Lomachenko to his own left, and to Linares' right. He was also actively moving to his left as well to get Lomachenko to move that way, hurting him that way, not just with punches, but with his own body work. But in the middle of the fight, he gave up on that and got Lomachenko to start moving to his left by simply circling out that way. And he found that that was a much more effective way to take that angle away from him, because he was already naturally moving away to his right, because he couldn't stop Lomachenko from taking that angle anyway. So his natural defensive posture was simply to pivot out, like take that step, boom, and then move off the line and re-engage Lomachenko on the line. You know, Lomachenko could still get that one shot off and beat him to the line sometimes, but it was so much more effective than eating those really hard shots that Lomachenko had time to kind of wind up on, by eating the smaller shots, because he was getting to the line basically at the same time. But that might be a whole nother video. To be honest, I might make like a ton of videos on this fight. I'm so excited. I do think it was actually fight of the year. But again, Lomachenko doing a good job of baiting him, right? And this is all part of the same thing, but the level changes, right? Level change here, what do? And then level change, probe, right? Level change, and then shoots a shot. Now, this is a very important timing for the flow of the fight, you guys. Very important. Keep this in mind. Level change, jab, right? And again, he's picking him apart. He's level change, right? Boom, and then goes to the body. Now, Linares still having some success when he gets him inside, right? Because of the speed, because it's just so hard to neutralize him, right? And another thing that Lomachenko doesn't do, right? And this is something that Brook did really well. He doesn't complete this shift right here, right? Because your opponent has your left side mirrored to you, right? So your Lomachenko's left side is the farthest away from Linares' right side. So when he closes this distance, look at how his leg is here. There's still space for him to punch with his right foot. He needs to take his foot all the way to Linares', basically all the way to Linares' right leg. But it's hard to do that because of the fact that he has lead foot dominance right now. So he can't mirror him. He needs his foot in front of Linares' foot so that he can continue shifting his whole body and close that gap and stop those punches. But because of the strategy of getting your foot to the outside, it just makes it really difficult. And that's why he's kind of taking shots right here, because he's not able to completely close that gap. That's not necessarily like something to like criticize Lomachenko about, because obviously he wants the lead foot dominance and he wants to control as much as he can, right? He should probably be doing it with his forearm, right? When he closes that distance, like boom, 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 and then close the distance by pinning Linares' right arm to his body, or controlling it with his forearm when he gets it up here, right? But it's just something to notice, like for future fights, like if he fights Mikey Garcia, that might be something Mikey Garcia can take advantage of as well. Now again, this is really interesting because, again, remember the timing, right? And this is the end of the 5th round. Most of the footage is for the 6th round. But changes levels, right? And again, that's Linares' timing, right? Linares knows that's when he wants to throw punches. And look at how he's able to kind of land some on Lomachenko, because Lomachenko doesn't set them up in this regard, right? Because maybe he's getting too... oh, God, what is it? too easy to read in that regard. It hasn't shown up in the fight yet, but instead of feinting once and then going in, right, he goes straight in and kind of eats a shot, you know. But then in the next sequence, right, shoots the jab, throws the combination, and he doesn't do any level changing, right? So you might want to ask yourself, like, these are so similar situations, but Loma telegraphs it by changing levels first. Why doesn't he not just not change levels and just always shoot shots like this, right? It's really interesting how Linares has no counters when there's no level change, right? Anyway, getting into the 6th round, this is the most fascinating round. This round is just absolutely brilliant for Linares. Even though Lomachenko is going to smash him throughout the round, all the way up until the knockdown. But there's a lot to talk about. So the 6th round starts the same way, right? Loma feinting the level changes, then controlling him with the lead hand, right? And then, look at this. And I kept this clip in there. This is beautiful. Look at Linares probe with this jab, right? And Lomachenko respects it. He's like, oh, pull away from the jab, right? Boom, and then eats a jab to the body because Linares is able to get him out of position, right? By feinting him first. Even a brilliant fighter like Lomachenko is suspect to feints and probes, right? And that's what more fighters need to do, is learn how to fake offense and get their opponent out of position to defend it before they set up their real shots. And as you can see, even a brilliant fighter like Lomachenko is susceptible to it. Now, again, Lomachenko baiting the shots, right? He dips to the outside and gets Linares to shoot a shot, right? Changes levels, right? And he's like, ooh, what are you going to do? Ooh, what are you going to do? Changes levels again. Linares shoots that jab. And look at how Linares is circling to his right now, right? To get away from that lead foot dominance that Lomachenko is setting up on him. Beautiful. I love it. Lomachenko stalking, probing, changes levels, changes... takes an angle to the outside, and then boom. Now when he changes levels, because Linares doesn't know what he's going to do, he's able to land that free body shot. Again, beautiful from Linares, using the probe, right? Probing right hand. Lomachenko says, ooh, you're going to get me to the body? But Linares is like, just kidding, and goes upstairs with the left hook. Again, even great fighters are susceptible to probes. It's not impossible to get them out of position. And that's exactly how you want to set your punches up against everybody, no matter who you are. So props to Linares in that regard. Again, Lomachenko doing a great job, changing levels, probing, and then trying to get to the outside. But look at what Linares does right here. Beautiful. He shoots his jab, right, because he sees the level change, right? And then Linares controls him and then takes a step off the line. You know, I've never seen, like, remember when we did the film study on Luke Campbell and how every time somebody would move to that side or throw shots, Linares would just kind of crouch out to the side and he would just kind of get stuck there. And I thought that Lomachenko was just going to smash him because of that. He's going to take that angle, boom, 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 piece him up, into the night, you know. But Linares made some great adjustments in his camp and learned a lot. Now, this is the vintage Lomachenko. Beautiful stuff. Probing with that lead hand. And now I want you guys to pay attention to this. This is really important. This is the part of the fight that really starts to create a pattern for Lomachenko, for Linares to take advantage of, right? Probing with the lead hand, circling it out. Oh, is it a hook? Is it a jab? Is it a what? Right? Probing, right? Probing with the level change. Linares sticks his glove out there. Now probing with it. The same thing, level change, body shot, right? Lomachenko does one feint, then one attack. One feint, and then one attack. So probing with the level change, shoots a jab, right? Probing with the level change, starts wheeling out. And look at this. It's the same pattern, right? One feint, Linares controls him, right? And then one feint, and he goes in to start setting up some offense. And Linares says, oh, I know this pattern, right? One feint, one attack. And Linares starts throwing combinations at him. And how does he figure this out? How does he realize that this is the opportunity that he wants to start throwing punches? It's because he's picking up on these patterns that even though Lomachenko is doing the right thing, Lomachenko hasn't realized that he's getting predictable in that regard. What was that clip for? Oh, level change and just coming in. Again, probing, and then Linares says, oh, he's going to attack me now. So one probing, and then after the first one, Linares starts again, trying to attack. Now, he's used, let's see what he uses this time. I think it was the left uppercut. Boom, expecting offense to come. Left uppercut, right hand, right? That didn't work. Now, probe, attack, right? Probe, probe, attack, right? And now look at this. Look at how Linares is able to pick up on it, right? Eats that body shot, right? Probe, attack, right? Probe, lead hand, and then attack. Now, Linares is able to get under this shot because of the fact that Lomachenko is starting to get predictable. Just like I said a second ago, it's becoming one of those patterns where the lead hand, the first lead hand, is always the setup, and Linares is starting to pick up on it. Real quick, want to touch on this. Look at how he starts taking that lead foot dominance, and he starts closing the distance. And Lomachenko looks to lean on him, right, to control his opponent, right? And that's usually what winds up being the end of his opponents, right? Because he leans on them, and that allows him to frame off of them so he can take another angle and really start landing shots. But what does Linares do? Beautiful, you guys. He sees that Lomachenko is going to do that, and he leans into him himself and pushes off and creates space, and Lomachenko is not able to land any offense right there. Beautiful shot. Again, going into it, Lomachenko flashes the lead hand, and Linares is like, oh, now he's going to come in, right? So he tries to catch him with the left hook, right? But it misses. So now he has to think of another offense, and he starts getting kind of pieced up right here. But again, Lomachenko takes that lead angle, and what does Linares do? Leans into him and controls him with his forearm to push off so Lomachenko can't take an angle. That's just kind of a side thing. It's a whole nother video that I could make on how he neutralized that outside angle, but it's just beautiful, you guys. Again, Lomachenko doing the same exact technique, right? Flashing the lead hand, coming forward, and then shooting the body shot, right? He's really starting to piece up Linares in this round. He's really starting to land some great shots to the body. As Punch for Pound stated, he lands some great shots, really powerful shots. And again, very predictable, right? Shooting that lead hand, taking an angle, and coming inside, right? Linares tries to frame on him and try to stop him because he hasn't been able to land any shots. Lomachenko lands another shot. Now look at how Linares reacts to this one, right? Probing the lead hand. He knows that Lomachenko is going to take another angle in, right? And he shoots an uppercut to the body. Doesn't really land, and he doesn't find any offense for it. But again, he's picking up on this pattern that Lomachenko uses that lead hand and takes an angle. Again, the left hand off of it doesn't land. Lomachenko almost catches him again. And now I think this is the part where the round really changes, right? So now notice that Lomachenko was doing everything that he wanted to do throughout all of those scenes, right? He was the one that would probe, get Linares to kind of shell up, or get Linares to, feint or put himself a little bit out of position. Even though Linares was reacting well, right? He was reacting well with his right uppercuts or his left hooks. His timing was just off because he had no control over Lomachenko. Now, the important part here, there's this massive shift at 1 minute in the 6th round. If you guys go back and watch it, it's just insane. So check it out. He's probing. Now look at how Linares is controlling Lomachenko now, right? He starts probing. He starts using his lead hand. He's able to shoot his jab. And look at how Lomachenko's like, what's going on here, right? It's just fascinating. We're going to play the whole clip through, but probing, gets him to slow down, lands a jab, and Lomachenko's like processing what this new pattern is, what this new thing is. Probing, and he's able to kind of work his way in. But look at how Linares right here, look at how Linares is able to probe and then still stay in position because he's not committing to that jab. He's getting information from Lomachenko, right? But also what he does by the probing and the controlling him, he stops Lomachenko from being able to properly set his shots up, from properly being able to use his own lead hand control and feint him, duck down, change levels, and get him out of position, and get him thinking, right? If he can stop him from doing all that stuff, then Linares doesn't have to think about all those things and what they mean. Oh, is this the setup? Is this that? Is this that timing? Is this that? Because now he's got Lomachenko thinking about what he's doing. Now again, moving on. Now that he's controlling him, he's able to kind of throw his own shots because Lomachenko is not doing his little feinting and stuff. Ooh, now again, right? Lomachenko shoots that jab, takes the lead foot dominance, and look at where his head is, right? He knows that this is the timing where he needs to, where Lomachenko is going to shoot a shot, right, or come in, and he ducks it. He kind of gets out of position right there and almost eats an uppercut, but he knows the timing, you guys. Again, he knows the timing, right? The jab, and then this is where he looks to counter. Boom, boom, and he misses, right? Lomachenko understands that timing too. Like he's baiting shots or this and that, you know, but it's the fact that Lomachenko is getting predictable in this regard. Feinting again, catching him with the left hook. But again, he hasn't been successful with the left hook. He hasn't been successful with the right uppercut to the body. He hasn't been successful with the left hook to the body. So now we're going to get to see Lomachenko do the exact same timing. Boom! And Linares catches him with the shot. It's the exact same timing. But instead of using the left hook, right, that hasn't been successful, mostly because of the fact that Lomachenko is able to get to the outside of him, right? Lomachenko is able to get to the outside of Linares and takes away all the power, right? You're going to catch him way before you're able to turn your shot over, so it kind of winds up just being a slapping shot where you're pushing and dragging against them. But here, he catches him on that timing, and boom, right in between it, he knows that that's when he's going to take that angle. He's just going to probe with that lead hand, take that angle, and then try to piece him up. But Linares has been paying attention. He's been working hard, and he's able to catch him with a brilliant shot while he comes in. Just beautiful boxing from Linares. To be honest, like, it's beautiful boxing from Lomachenko too. All the way up until this part of the fight, he was just piecing him up. He was really putting it on him, and I think Lomachenko thought that this was the part of the fight where he was going to start to knock him out, that he was really going to be able to get Linares to quit, because he was landing some big shots. And I think that he didn't realize how predictable he was getting in that nature, where he would, you know, shoot that lead hand and then come in and then try to piece him up. And I don't think that he picked up that Linares was picking up on it too. Anyway, that's it for rounds 4 through 6. I am going to be looking to do more film study. I haven't watched any of the fight past the 6th round a second time, just because I've watched the fight probably like 20 times now. And I've just been looking for these patterns, looking for this stuff, and trying to figure it all out. And it's a lot of work. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Yeah, thanks guys.